The trucking industry is the backbone of society. For those of us here at HDAW who are concerned with supporting the trucking industry, we take our role very seriously. One company that's making a real difference is Donaldson. And Donaldson is a vertically integrated filtration company that is customer focused. They're a company that is involved in continuous improvement of both how they work internally and what they're doing for their customers externally. And they really have focused on developing technology around their products and their offering to be able to extend equipment life. This is a real focus for Donaldson. So we are at HDAW right now, and we are going to have the opportunity of speaking with 3 of the Donaldson employees that are here at the show to talk about how they specifically are focused on supporting the aftermarket.
Hi, I'm Angie Zurek, and I'm Donaldson's Vice President of Aftermarket Solutions Sales for the US and Canada.
Angie, welcome to the Heavy Duty Parts Report. We're at HDAW in Grapevine, Texas. So happy to have you here.
Thanks, Jamie.
I'm excited to talk to you. One of the things that I know about your company, you're dedicated to supporting the aftermarket, and the trucking industry is just so important. And we've got to extend equipment life. So one of the things that I know also when I used to sell Donaldson products, I have some familiarity with the company. I also was looking at some of the statements you've made publicly about your commitments. And Donaldson has been really investing, including a corporate redesign. And I was kind of curious with that strategy, what were you trying to do, or how were you hoping that would help you better serve customers, and how has that worked out for you?
Yeah, no, Jamie, you can imagine, 108-year-old company. Yeah. It's great for solid foundation, team, experience, those kinds of things. It also can lead to some layers building up over time and slow down on processes. And the redesign was really about taking a step back for how we wanted to organize internally and empower the business units to make decisions faster and be closer to the customer. So putting functions like distribution within direct control of the business units and enabling really that empowerment. So, the last few years especially, we've heard from our customers, they want that transparency of end-to-end where we're at in the supply chain, and the redesign organizes our teams in a way to be responsive to our customers. And the second thing I'd like to call out about the redesign is it's really about our team, our employees. So again, they want career path. They want to understand the transparency within the organization of where they can go. And so the redesign put in place consistent levels across all of the various teams around the globe. And so our team members have the opportunity to, we value retention, and we want to keep good people. And, that's a big part of serving our customers too. And so the redesign was also about putting those infrastructures in place.
Yeah, I've always thought that if you take care of your employees, they'll take care of your customers, and then the customers take care of the company, and then everybody's happy.
Absolutely.
It completes the loop. One of the things, a company of, like you said, 108 years, and over the years, I know that Donaldson has always focused on technology, but you've had to invest in R&D and additional technology, and of course, the trucking industry is changing so rapidly now. So can you talk to a little bit about what that process has been like over the last few years, and what's the impact of that been?
Yeah, I've been with Donaldson for about a decade, and one thing that's been impressive to me is we've maintained a pretty consistent commitment to R&D over the business cycles. So this year we'll invest over $75 million, and that's in things from continuous improvement, like making our media just that much better for whatever conditions our customers' equipment is facing. It's also in things like predictive algorithms that help us understand when a filter is going to fail, so that we can put in place, with partnership with telematics, the predictive algorithms that, will help our customers extend the filter life, get the most out of it, better for their equipment, better for the environment, but also, more cost effective.
That kind of technology is interesting to me because on the surface, it makes you think, well, that's probably just going to tell people to change more filters, but it's actually not true. It's about getting that maximum life of that filter, right? So you don't want to change it too late, and you don't want to change it too soon either.
It's really optimizing that filter life so that we do just that. Better for the equipment because we're getting the most out of our filter, and better for the environment because we're not changing it too soon.
Yeah, and I can see why it requires such a large investment too to calculate that, because trucks are getting a lot more complicated. And they're being pushed to places they've never been before.
Yeah. And we see that, in a lot of places where we're investing is the digitalization and impact on better tools, better processes for our customers.
Everybody has talked nonstop about the supply chain issues the last couple of years. It's not, no one's a stranger to any of that. But what have you done on the manufacturing capacity side to be able to try to cope with that and provide, the product to your customers?
Yeah, so you don't get to be 108 years old by perfectly timing every business cycle.
Right.
So another thing we've done is just been consistent in our commitment to capacity. So I think we entered the pandemic in a stronger position of having capacity, having long tenured relationships with our suppliers. The pandemic certainly validated that the last couple years, but then taking that to the next level was about a lot of the things I'm sure you're hearing, right? We invested in inventory and critical areas or critical components of supply. We diversified or got to be a bit more agile in our supplier qualification and making sure that we were being quick on our feet to improvise and adapt to the conditions as they changed. So we've made about a $500 million investment in capacity over the last 5 years, and we're putting in another 9 lines in 2023 so that whatever comes in 2023 or the next 108 years,
you'll be ready for it.
To be ready. Yep.
Fantastic. Angie, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thanks, Jamie. I appreciate it.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Don't have a heavy-duty part number and need to look up a part? Go to parts.diesellaptops.com or download the app on Apple or Android to create your free account. Looking for high-quality fuel injection for heavy-duty applications? Having one supplier for fuel injection allows you to better serve customers by providing them with a complete line, which increases your sales and profitability. Learn more at ambackinternational.com/aftermarket. Parts availability and quality have a big influence on fleets and owner-operators' total cost of operation. If they can't find a part, it means more downtime. If they install a low-quality part and it fails, it means even more costs like tow bills, hotels, meals for the driver, and lost revenue. That's why we recommend Sampa. They manufacture a wide range of advanced parts for commercial vehicles. Their website has an intelligent product search engine and broad coverage of suspension, steering, and fifth wheel components. Expect more. Expect Sampa. Visit sampa.com today.
I'm Todd Mueller with Donaldson. I'm the National Sales Director for the United States and Canada.
Todd, welcome to the Heavy Duty Parts Report. We're in HDAW, Grapevine, Texas. Nice to be here in person.
Thank you. Appreciate the invite.
So I had a chance to sell your product when I was a heavy-duty sales account manager. I worked with Floyd Dixon, a manufacturing rep who's retired now, but he was a Donaldson guy, wonderful guy. He actually taught me a lot about filtration. I always thought your customer service was pretty great, but I know that you've done a lot of work to try to make improvements there. What areas did you focus on and how did you make improvements?
Yeah, some of the things we do, the customer experience is what we call it, is very important to us. We actually measure that on a quarterly basis to make sure we're trending in the right direction. But some of the things we do, we want to be very easy to reach. 98% of our incoming calls are answered within 15 seconds. Wow. And the other 2% do not go into voicemail or automated system. They just have to wait just a little bit longer for the next available agent. So, and that's not accomplished through automation. You will speak with a live person, and that person will be based here in the United States.
Yeah, no, and that is important to actually, when you got a problem, and you're not calling for fun, right. It's usually because you got an equipment down or you have a customer that's in that situation, you're trying to solve a problem. So talking to someone.
I should add that that's between the hours of 7 to 5 p.m. Central Time.
Right.
Outside of that, a couple of years ago, we released a new e-commerce platform called shop.donaldson.com. So that's the address, but you can do a lot of traditional things like part interchange, part number crossovers. If you register and have your account, you can see your account specific pricing. You can look up your last invoices. You can track shipments. But the really cool thing we added here in the midst of the supply chain crisis about 9 months ago was the ability for customers to log in and see real-time snapshot of our inventory.
Oh, wow.
So if you log in right now, you can look up one part number 100, whatever you want to do, and you can see our inventory right now. But not only that, you can look into the future and see when our next 2 stock dates are and the quantities. So you essentially can then, with that tool, communicate to your customers as a distributor what the outlook of receiving those parts are.
Yeah, and that parts visibility is a growing concern. I think that the pandemic in some ways kind of brought that to the attention of fleets. I've had a lot of fleets tell me that they found that they were more focused on maybe the driver shortage or the technician shortage prior to the pandemic, and then they realized how much lack of visibility on product was actually costing them. And distributors were stuck in the middle as well.
And speed of response was not good, unfortunately, at that time. People couldn't get the answers or the help they needed immediately through traditional channels of calling their customer service person, so they would engage with sales, who would kind of end up doing the same thing and chase that information to get it back to them. But now it's available at your fingertips. You know when the availability of parts is going to be, and we've received positive feedback at a high level.
I'm sure people are really enjoying that. From a manufacturing perspective, I know that you, when you're testing a product, you have a test environment, and then you have what happens in the real world.
That's right.
Could you tell me a little bit about the new technology that's called AlphaWeb?
Yep. AlphaWeb is part of our hydraulic product line. It's a new filter technology that was released at the end of 2022. But you're exactly right. When our engineers sit down to design a product, that's all governed by industry specifications, and then those specifications dictate the laboratory setup to do the testing. And prior to last year, for hydraulic filtration, the ISO specification was a steady flow state type of a condition, which, if you know hydraulics, the applications out there are not a steady flow state. The operator is using the joystick to make his machine go to work. There's a lot of vibration, there's a lot of impulse cycles, so it's not very reflective of the testing conditions. So last year, 2021, ISO came up with a new standard that is cyclical flow, so the test itself has variations in the flow pattern of the hydraulic system as the product is being engineered or tested. So our engineers came up using that test with a new filter media called AlphaWeb, and it has kind of the simplest way to say it is a trap and lock. So it traps and locks the particles into space. Before, as the hydraulic system would go through those impulse cycles and those cyclical flow changes, those particles could get re-released back into the system. So now with the trap and lock, the product does a much better job of containing those contaminants and not allowing them to have a detrimental effect on the system.
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit about Donaldson and our latest products.
Hi, I'm Jay Schauder. I'm the National Account Manager at Donaldson.
Jay, welcome to the Heavy Duty Parts Report. I'm really glad to have you here. It's pretty exciting to be here at HDAW and be able to do this in person.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thank you.
One thing that we are really focused on, both at the Heavy Duty Parts Report, and I think we have a shared vision with your company, Donaldson, is just how important it is to support the aftermarket, and that's why we're here, right? What trends or issues are you seeing in the field, in the trucking industry, going into 23? What do you kind of see as some of the challenges we're going to face this year?
Yeah, I think, what I've seen and have seen the most of over the last 2 years, which is natural with COVID, what we've been dealing with is different ways to reach our customers, right? And that's highly through e-commerce, right? Digital platforms. We're seeing a lot of requests for that data, that information, help improve their e-commerce platform to sell in a different way that we're not traditionally used to.
So that information so you're thinking of distributors who are looking for that information so that they can make your products available to the end users, the fleets, the repair shops.
Correct, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So how has Donaldson responded to that then? What adjustments did you have to make, or what investments did you have to make in order to, because that's a lot of information. And how did you go about doing that?
Yeah, so at Donaldson, we have tons of data, right? And that's been the biggest issue is how do we get that out there the right way, the right type of information, so that we've made the investments on working with partners to make sure that we have that data available, the pictures, the weights, all that information, the PIM system, right, that's available to them through partnerships to make it easy, right? That's the end game, is to make it easy for our customers to do business with Donaldson.
And I used to sell parts. I actually sold Donaldson parts at one point in my career. And I know you can get a cross-reference from one filter to another, but that doesn't mean the micron rating is exactly correct, or there's those issues. So there's a lot to that. So the quality of the data must be very important.
Very, very important. And we make sure that, and that's one of the the best parts about Donaldson is we're very transparent with all that information, because that's how we sell against our competition, right? The value add, right? What makes Donaldson's technology so great? So having that visible and accessibility is what helps drive that business.
And when I think about your company, you know, it's stated on your website how you're really dedicated to extending equipment life. So having good data, getting the right part for the right application, that all part and parcel with that.
Right.
Could you tell us a story or an example maybe from the field of a customer who's had a lot of success just leveraging this technology?
Yeah, so absolutely. And that one example comes to mind with one of our solutions through our Shop Donaldson website is our Commerce Connector that we've worked on. And really what that is doing is customers, end users that visit our sites that are looking for that, where to buy the Donaldson product from, we have a direct link now to that distributor, right, which brings them to their e-commerce platform, making it easier to sell.
Oh, okay, great, yeah. And that flow from manufacturer to distributor, I mean, that's one of the things that's interesting. Over the last few years, I've talked a lot about the importance of digital, and you know, there was a hesitation and quite a strong fear about opening up some of this because of what we would call the traditional distribution model. I've never felt like it was an either or. It's a combination of the technology and taking the best parts of the traditional distribution and keeping that intact. Is that how you feel?
Absolutely. It just opens the door for more opportunity.
I like it. We make it easy for our customers. That is what it is all about. Thank you so much for stopping by the booth and taking some time to talk with us.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jamie. Appreciate it.
You've been listening to the Heavy Duty Parts Report. We're here at HDAW. I'm your host, Jamie Irvin, and we've been with the folks from Donaldson. It was a great opportunity to understand a little more about what they're doing to support the aftermarket specifically. If you would like to learn more about Donaldson, go to donaldson.com. Links are in the show notes. Thank you so much for watching the show today and supporting the Heavy Duty Parts Report.
Thank you for watching this video. Click here to subscribe to the Heavy Duty Parts Report YouTube channel, and click here to watch another great episode.